What's up, everybody? You're back in here with the Pro Football Pod. You've got Hulk, you've got Coach, you've got Austin. We've got Raiders preview for you, the people. Black and silver, if you're in here with us, comment, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. 500 subscribers, we give away a free custom jersey to one of you lucky viewers.
Of your choice.
Could be a Bo Jackson jersey if that's what your heart desires. We don't know. We don't know. Is it going to say panty dropper on the back because it's a custom jersey? It could be. But hey, I'm really excited to get into the Raiders. I like what they have done with their offseason. I like them committing to Antonio Pierce. Like, I love seeing the interim coach get the job and like actually give him a chance to build a team here, especially for an ex-player like himself.
I like Gardner Minshew, dude. Let's talk about
Gardner,
that.
bro. I
like
love
Gardner. He was a
Gardner's
baller
one
last
of those,
year.
He's one of those like bottom tier quarterbacks that I just can't shake. Like everywhere he goes, I'm just like, can we give Gardner a chance?
His stats versus Trevor Lawrence's stats equal in 2 years compared to 3. He's only started for 2 seasons. Like, that's insane to me. And everyone's on Trevor Lawrence's dick still.
Nah, man. Gardner Minshew's way more chill.
Way more chill. He's got the handlebar with the jorts. Like, dude, I'll take that.
He plays frisbee golf and like lives in a van, dude.
Little ass boy.
He's so chill.
Honestly, man, what he was able to do with
Jacobs
Pittman
was the worst thing for him, like as far as what their team was, but we knew that one was coming. They brought in Alexander Madison to kind of replace that.
They're expecting Zamir White, though. I'm not super high on Zamir White.
Zamir White. I liked him a lot coming out of Georgia. Like I liked him a lot. He was one of those guys, because for so long we were begging as Dolphins fans, just please draft us a running back. He was one of those guys in the mid-late rounds, like I was wanting us to pull the trigger on as a Dolphins fan. Like, I like his running style. I think that's why the Raiders were okay with letting Josh Jacobs walk, because, like you mentioned, Zamir White is going to be next man up.
They're not in the position to pay a running back way too much money. They don't have all their other positions figured out. They're not making a big run. Like, that's obvious. They're paying Devontae Adams way too much money. But that's okay.
I think this is his last season with the Raiders.
It's a lot like what Justin mentioned on the last podcast with the Broncos, how Sean Payton was not there whenever Williams was drafted. And so, like, you know, he was on his way. He could be on his way out. Like, it's not to say it's his favorite running back in his roster. And that's why Josh Jacobs saw the door.
I mean, the Raiders were the second best team PFF grade-wise in this division last year. They also were tied for record with the Broncos, but like across the board, the only real weaknesses they had were run blocking and tackling. Everything else they did really well. Now, a lot of that it has to do with Antonio Pierce, and I think that's why they retained him. Their players were willing to run through brick walls for that guy. I like that from a coach. I like that he could get the team ready.
I'd see, for me, Antonio Pierce, and I'm hoping it's this way, especially for the Raiders' sake, gives me a lot of AFC Dan Campbell vibes.
Yes.
Ex-player, hard-nosed player. I don't care to cuss you guys out if it means I'm doing it respectfully and you're understanding where I'm coming from. Like, I like what he's doing. Their draft is kind of reminiscent of something of what the Lions did. Brock Bowers was shocking.
Yes.
But for what they want this team to be, I understand
a culture over there.
Jackson Powers Johnson, Delmar Glaze, offensive tackle out of Maryland. Little high for that pick for my taste, but hey,
get your guy.
What have we said with the Lions the last couple of years? Like, it's kind of shocking where they take these guys, but halfway through the season, we're just like, oh, we get it. Makes sense. Tommy Eichenberg, linebacker from Ohio State, you just pointed out one of their biggest issues was tackling.
Yeah.
Tommy Eichenberg was a very sure tackler there at Ohio State, to where in the 5th round, a lot of value there. And Dylan Laub, the running back from New Hampshire, he's a guy to where, you know, there's not really a solidified dude on this roster. So he can give you some kind of value at some point in the season. And I love the Trey Taylor and MJ Devonshire picks in the 7th round just to help shore up that DB core. If they can come in and give you any kind of role or value at all, it's going to help because they need it at corner.
I think that what we
back over on the offensive side real quick. They got Jalen Guyton and Michael Gallup. That's huge to fill out some depth in receiver.
Absolutely, and they need it as well. Like Devontae Adams can't just get 15 targets a game and then win football games. Now, I think that we need to talk about him going at wide receiver 16. Wide receiver 9, 16 overall, and how much value that's going to have. This is potentially the furthest down the list that he's ever been outside of his first and second year.
And what I want to point out with that is look at Michael Pittman Jr.'s value.
Yes.
When he was playing with Gardner Minshew last year. Gardner crazy. Is not afraid to feed 15 targets to the clear number 1 wide receiver on that team.
He's trying to keep a job. I mean, that's how you keep one.
Not only that, like you're throwing it to one of the best wide receivers in the league. Why would you not feed it to him that many times? Like, I like what Jacoby Myers did for you last year. And I like Brock Bowers coming in. I like the depth with Jalen Guyton and Michael Gallup. I get that. But Devontae Adams is Devontae Adams.
Yep.
Yeah,
now
100%.
let's talk about Jacoby Myers, 52 wide receiver
he was
overall.
Balling last year.
Every single receiver for the Chiefs is going to be gone.
12th
Ladd
round.
McConkey is going to be gone. The freaking Troy Franklin is going to be gone. Oh, no. It's before Troy Franklin goes. But Cortland Sutton is gone. Like, all these guys are gone. And you still get to get Jacoby Myers, the number 2 target, on a team that's going to pass the ball. We just talked about how they don't really have a true blue, let's hand him the ball 3 times in a row running back. They are going to need to throw the ball. They brought Gardner in to throw the ball. I can't believe...
Going to be down in a lot of games, probably.
Thank you. The 4th quarter, garbage time Kings, they're going to be huge. This team is very much being slept on.
And it's not like it's an unknown. Like, Gardner has shown it. He got what it takes to.
They did it last year. They were down in quite a few games.
Great value
and he was putting up like 30 points
on a team.
And their defense was giving up 30 points a lot last year. Like, the Colts were that team that was just like, who cares? We're just going to keep throwing the ball.
The Raiders actually
where
do
Gardner's
have a
going
defense.
at his value, number 32 quarterback, 19th round for a 10-team league. Like, I throw him on my roster because if one of your guys go down, you don't have to hit the waiver wire. You have a guy that can give you a 20-point fantasy outing because of the players he's got. And let's be honest, I know it's the Raiders here, and we mentioned how they don't really have the established running back. But overall, his weapons are much better than what he had with Indianapolis last year.
The only thing that was better was JT. That was it.
JT was out most of the season.
Only the first 4 games. And
yeah,
Zach,
but I think whenever Gardner started really getting most of the starting time, he did have JT. But outside of JT and Michael Pittman Jr., like Josh Downs gave you some value last year, but not as much as you wanted to see. Like, with the guys we just laid out here, like, he clearly has a better team to work with here.
2 tight ends, like Brock Bowers and Mayer. And Mayer's a very good blocking tight end, so they're going to be able to have some running sets that they're running the ball with both of them out there, and then all of a sudden get some play action between the 2 of those guys. This is going to be a decent offense to get behind. I'm not saying that you should overdraft any of these guys, but at the value that we're getting right now, if this remains the same through July and August, I'm absolutely excited about grabbing some late Raiders to make sure that whenever a couple of my guys go down later in the season, that I've got some guys that are just going to put them in right now. Jacoby Myers, man, like, the fact that you don't have to have him as one of your starters, he was easily a starting wide receiver 3 all last year. And that was with Aiden O'Connell throwing the freaking ball to him for a lot of the time.
I do think it's safe to say this isn't a Super Bowl contending team, but it's definitely a scrappy team that's going to ruin a lot of people's
that's
seasons.
it. It's a team nobody making a run at the end of the year wants to see.
Yeah.
Because it's teams like this that if they know they're out of it, they're just fully playing for pride and they're okay with that.
Yep.
Like,
Black Hole's got pride.
And what they've done on the defensive side as well, like bringing in Christian Wilkins to help with Max Crosby and Malcolm Kuntz for him was solid last year. Their corners are really like where my only question marks are for their defense.
Yeah.
Are you going to be able to stop the pass?
It's hard to find good corners too. It really is.
Yeah, Eagles know about that. That's why they took 2 in the first 2 rounds. I think that the Raiders over-under right now at 6.5, it's a little bit scary for me to go 7. I think that they can easily pull out 6. I think that they will be a good football team. I'm more excited about their fantasy value. Austin, you said it perfectly. They're going to be behind in games. They're going to need to throw the ball a bunch. And in the past, they've just fed the ball to Devontae Adams in the fourth quarter. I don't think that Gardner, he's going to feed him the ball throughout the game. He's not going to have to throw him 10 targets in just the fourth quarter to try to salvage together a drive. I think that we're going to be able to see a little bit more spread than what he had with the Colts last year.
Yeah, I agree with you. At 6.5, I think they can pull out 6. But for them to pull out more than that, it's going to have to be a week where they shock some teams.
Like in Arrowhead last year.
You're going to have to shock, like, you've got the Rams, Chiefs, Bengals. They have a 4-game stretch where they've got Rams, Chiefs, Bengals, Dolphins. They have a bye week in between there. But then, I mean, they've got the Saints on this roster schedule. The Jaguars, that's a game they could steal.
Yep.
One of the Broncos games.
The Saints aren't like
the Saints. Like, I think they could steal one of the Chargers games. So I see 6 wins. Anything over that it's hard to commit to.
I'm around the 4 to 5 range, so I would say under.
Oh, why do you hate the Raiders, Austin? What'd they do to you? Show me on this ball where the Raiders touched you.
Who touched you? We'll be right back. We'll keep it right here. The Raiders just have a really tough schedule. I only see like 3 or 4 to 5 wins coming out of here, like the Panthers, the Bucks, the Jags, the Falcons. Like, and these are they're gonna be tough wins to get. Maybe that's preseason. Yeah, I don't know, 4 to 5 for them until they show me like that they can really come out here and win.
I like the way they're building this team in Antonio Pierce's image, though. Like, I do like what the Raiders are doing. If they were able to make the trade up for Drake May or Jaden Daniels, like what they were wanting to do,
could have took them to that next level.
Exactly. It would have absolutely. I would have, in the first 3 rounds, I would have liked to see them draft a corner. They waited till round 4 with DeCamerion Richardson from Mississippi State, which, okay. But, like, the guys over Brock Bowers, like, I love Brock Bowers, but with Michael Mayer there, I don't see the need. I would have rather seen them take one of the offensive tackles that were still on the board or trade back and take Quinyon Mitchell or Terrion Arnold. That's what I would have liked to see.
Michael Mayers was your favorite tight end last year.
He was my number 1 tight end last year. I stuck with that all year long because of how he was just as a well-rounded overall tight end.
Because he doesn't have to leave the field. Tight end. If you're running the ball, if you're passing the ball, he gets to be out there no matter what because he does it all. He just doesn't have elite speed and athleticism. He's got phenomenal hands though, and that's what you need for your rookie.
Michael Mayer is an upgraded Robert Tonyan, which for the right system, great. He's going to give you 8 touchdowns and 450 yards of just hard-nosed yards that are going to be gained for first downs. But like you said, he's not going to be your game breaker that Brock Bowers gives you the potential for.
Who's the tight end for the Cardinals?
Trey McBride. I can't wait to do the Cardinals episode because when we hit the NFC West tomorrow, and giving y'all those episodes coming up, I like the Cardinals' outlook fantasy-wise as well.
That's my comp for him.
Nobody likes to talk about Gronkowski and Aaron Hernandez anymore because of the Aaron Hernandez and what happened. But whenever the 2 of them entered the league, I mean, Michael Mayer and Rob Gronkowski have a lot of comparisons together. They are just hard-nosed football players. And Brock Bowers is absolutely the Aaron Hernandez, the slimmer body, more athletic, more of a vertical threat. The both of them being out there at the same time is a very scary thing. And then you also have Devontae Adams and Jacoby. I mean, guys, this offense isn't going to be a top 10 offense. But they are going to
the
get
Patriots
points.
tight ends. Antonio Pierce was a linebacker for the Giants in those Super Bowls when they played versus those tight ends. So he has seen it. Like, he knows what it did for the Patriots overall as an offense, having those two tight ends and then Randy Moss on the outside. You've got these two tight ends and you've got Devontae Adams on the outside.
The thing that
I see the vision. I see the vision.
The thing that Dan Campbell did to become what the Lions are now is he surrounded himself with a coaching staff that was like-minded. If Antonio Pierce can do that, this team is going to shock people over the next couple of years. It might not be this year, but from a fantasy perspective, I absolutely love this year.
The only downfall to them is you're in a division with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes.
And you
now
have to play
Jim
against
Harbaugh and
Sean Payton.
Herbert.
and Sean Payton and Bo Nix. It's
AFC,
not an easy
the
division.
AFC West here in a few years very well could be what we thought it was going to be a couple seasons ago.
Yeah. It could be what the AFC North is right now.
With Patrick Mahomes getting old and out the door.
That's never happening.
That
That guy will be
Mahomes has got
55.
12 more years of dominating our life at minimum.
Yeah,
At
I'm
minimum.
so glad that I'm not a Raiders or Broncos or Chargers fan, because he'd be ruining my
I really
life.
hope he starts to see a lot of success off the field, so that way he realizes he doesn't need football as much, and then he can just like kind of bounce out a little early. That's
He just
we're not
watches what Tom does.
Yeah,
And then Tom
let's
just
keep.
got
We'll
300
enjoy
million
the
for like 4
greatness
years.
for like. We'll enjoy the greatness for like 7-8 more years, but then we're kind of over it. All right, get out of here, Pat. We're tired of it.
Hey, fuck Patrick
We appreciate
Mahomes.
you
This
guys
is a
sticking
Raiders
around.
podcast.
Raiders Nation, if you're still here with us, comment, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Do everything you can. Tell your friends. 500 subs, free jersey coming to one of you lucky viewers. TulsiRoseTea.com is the sponsor. Go to Tulsi Rose Tea for all of your tea needs. Teapots, little honey stirs, good stuff. We love it. We love you guys. We appreciate you. Peace out.